Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed by the constant noise and distractions of the world, feeling as though you're losing touch with your own sense of peace? The act of comparison, especially when we look outward at others' successes or failures, can create a deep sense of unease. The journey towards true fulfillment often lies in embracing solitude and focusing on one's own path, rather than being distracted by the achievements of others. This timeless lesson is beautifully illustrated in the story of a Buddhist monk named Hiroshi, whose journey towards self-discovery offers profound insights into the nature of inner peace and personal growth. The power of focusing on your own journey. In today's fast-paced world, it is all too easy to become consumed by the accomplishments of others. Whether it's a peer in your workplace, a friend who seems to be achieving their goals effortlessly, or someone on social media presenting an idealized version of their life, comparison becomes a constant companion. It can eat away at your self-esteem and make you question your worth. The pressure to live up to someone else's version of success can create an internal storm, one where peace and tranquility seem just out of reach. However, focusing on your own journey rather than the perceived progress of others is a crucial step toward finding fulfillment. This was a lesson that Hiroshi, a monk living in a serene Buddhist monastery, learned after facing significant internal struggles. Despite his dedication to the Buddhist path, Hiroshi found himself distracted by the achievements of his fellow monks. During daily meditation sessions, his attention would often wander to the other monks. He would compare their calm and stillness with his own efforts, wondering why his meditation didn't seem as deep or peaceful as theirs. Each glance cast at his peers seemed to increase his inner turmoil, as he questioned whether he was advancing as he should. It wasn't long before this habit of comparison began to undermine his sense of peace. Hiroshi's struggle is one that many of us can relate to, whether in our personal, professional, or spiritual lives. We are constantly bombarded with images of others' success, whether through the lens of social media, advertising, or casual conversation. The pressure to keep up with others' progress can feel overwhelming, and it can make us feel inadequate. But it is essential to remember that each person's journey is uniquely their own. Just as flowers in a forest bloom in their own time and rhythm, each of us has our own pace, purpose, and path to follow. The wisdom of the abbot. A lesson in acceptance. One day, after an especially difficult meditation session that left Hiroshi feeling drained and uncertain, he decided to seek guidance from the abbot, the revered spiritual leader of the monastery. The abbot was known for his wisdom and compassion, having spent decades cultivating deep spiritual insight. Hiroshi, deeply respectful of the abbot's experience, bowed to him in acknowledgement before sharing his struggles. As Hiroshi poured out his heart, expressing his frustrations and feelings of inadequacy, the abbot listened patiently, his face a calm reflection of understanding. When Hiroshi finished speaking, the abbot smiled gently, offering words of comfort and clarity. "My dear friend," the abbot began, his voice warm and filled with compassion, "what you are experiencing is not uncommon. Many who embark on the spiritual path face similar challenges. The process of personal growth is not linear. It unfolds according to its own rhythm, unique to each person. When you compare your progress to that of others, you only create obstacles that block your growth." The abbot's words were gentle yet powerful, as he sought to reassure Hiroshi that he was not alone in his struggles. Yet the abbot didn't stop there. To drive home his point, he decided to share a story from his own experience, one that would illuminate the nature of comparison and self-acceptance. To the story of the forest flowers, embracing individuality, the abbot spoke of a dense and ancient forest that he had once visited in his travels. In this forest, a vast variety of flowers bloomed in harmonious coexistence. Each flower was different in shape, size, color, and fragrance. Yet each played a vital role in the ecosystem of the forest. The flowers did not compete with one another for attention. Instead, They simply bloomed according to their own nature, flourishing in their unique ways, contributing to the collective beauty of the forest. "Observe the flowers," the abbot continued. "They do not concern themselves with the blooms of their neighbors. They do not compare themselves to one another. They simply exist, fulfilling their unique roles in the grand tapestry of the forest. It is this very diversity that creates the richness and harmony of the forest." As Hiroshi listened intently, the abbot's words began to sink in. Just as the flowers each had their own time and way of blooming, so too did each person have their own unique set of strengths, challenges, and experiences. In comparing himself to others, Hiroshi was missing the point of his own spiritual journey. Instead of measuring himself against the progress of those around him, he needed to focus on nurturing his own path, cultivating inner peace through mindfulness and self-awareness. The abbot's wisdom struck a chord with Hiroshi. He realized that, much like the flowers, he did not need to compete with others. His path was his own, and it was through nurturing that path, not comparing it to the paths of others, that he would find peace. The transformative power of mindfulness. Over the following weeks, Hiroshi took the abbot's teachings to heart. He practiced mindfulness in all aspects of his life, from his meditation sessions to his daily tasks. Rather than comparing his progress with others, he focused fully on the present moment. He let go of the distractions that had once clouded his mind, allowing his meditation to deepen in its own time. As he immersed himself in the practice of mindfulness, Hiroshi began to notice a profound shift in his mindset. He no longer felt frustrated by the progress of others or anxious about his own perceived shortcomings. Instead, he found himself embracing the flow of his journey, content in the knowledge that each moment of stillness and reflection was a step toward greater self-awareness. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment, became a powerful tool in Hiroshi's spiritual growth. With patience and dedication, Hiroshi experienced a deep sense of tranquility and acceptance that he had previously sought outside of himself. As he turned inward and embraced his path without distraction, he began to experience a profound transformation. The liberation of self-acceptance. One day, as Hiroshi sat in deep meditation, a realization dawned on him. The constant habit of comparing himself to others had been a burden that he no longer needed to carry. His spiritual journey was uniquely his, and it had unfolded according to its own divine rhythm. The act of comparison had only served to weigh him down, clouding his perception of his own growth and hindering his ability to find peace. In that moment of clarity, Hiroshi felt an overwhelming sense of liberation. He realized that by focusing inward and embracing his own progress, he had the power to cultivate a deep sense of contentment and peace. The external pressures that had once dominated his thoughts began to fade, and he was left with a newfound sense of serenity. He was no longer tethered to the progress of others, but was free to walk his own path with grace and acceptance. The ripple effect of inner peace. This inner transformation did not go unnoticed by those around Hiroshi. As he embraced the teachings of the abbot and shifted his focus inward, his sense of peace and contentment began to radiate outward. The harmonious energy he cultivated through self-acceptance and mindfulness influenced others in the monastery, inspiring them to follow his example. Hiroshi's journey became a beacon of inspiration for his fellow monks, who recognized the profound impact of his transformation. By releasing the burden of comparison, Hiroshi had unlocked a deeper sense of connection to himself and to the world around him. His presence in the monastery became a testament to the power of focusing on one's own path and embracing solitude as a means of personal growth. The complexities of solitude in adulthood. As adults, the relentless demands of work, family responsibilities, and financial pressures can become overwhelming. Our days often begin with an alarm, signaling the start of a frenetic rush. Getting the children ready for school, packing lunches, catching the train, or sitting through hours of meetings. The world spins faster and faster as we try to juggle multiple roles: employee, parent, spouse, friend. With each passing day, we invest more and more of ourselves into the obligations and expectations that others place upon us, often leaving little room for personal reflection or respite. In such a busy life, it's easy to forget what it feels like to simply exist in stillness. Yet many of us, after a long and exhausting day, find ourselves lingering in our cars, savoring the silence before stepping back into the whirlwind of our everyday routines. These fleeting moments, often dismissed as insignificant, hold a deeper significance. The quiet of a parked car, the muffled hum of passing traffic, or the soft rustling of wind against windows. All of these elements provide us with a precious reprieve from the world's ceaseless demands. In these moments of solitude, there is an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves. Without the need to tend to others or maintain appearances, we are allowed to drop our social masks and simply be. This pause, no matter how short, becomes a sanctuary where we can regain our inner peace. It is a space where we do not need to conform to external expectations, allowing us to reflect on our personal goals, our emotional state, and the quiet whispers of our heart that often go unheard amidst the noise of daily life. In the solitude of our own thoughts, we find a chance to process our experiences, recharge our mental and emotional batteries, and prepare to face another day with clarity and renewed strength. Solitude in the later stages of life. As we grow older, the concept of solitude takes on a new and profound significance. In youth, solitude can feel like a punishment, something to be avoided at all costs. But as the years pass and the world changes, solitude can transform from something to fear into something to embrace. In old age, solitude is no longer an indicator of isolation or loneliness. Rather, it becomes a vital tool for self-reflection, peace, and personal growth. This new phase of life offers us a unique opportunity to reflect on the rich tapestry of our experiences, the challenges we've faced, the victories we've celebrated, and the lessons we've learned along the way. Solitude in this context is not about isolation, but about finding a sense of harmony within oneself. It becomes a space for introspection, a time to nurture our spirits, and a moment to appreciate the journey we have traversed. The frantic pace of youth is replaced by a slower, more deliberate rhythm in older age, giving us the chance to savor the small moments we may have overlooked in the past. Moreover, the act of embracing solitude in old age allows us to cultivate a deeper connection to our authentic selves. Without the pressure to prove ourselves or seek validation from others, we are free to focus on what truly matters to us. There is no longer the need to fit into preconceived societal roles or meet external standards of success. We begin to see solitude not as something to avoid, but as a sacred space that holds the potential for profound self-discovery. As the physical demands of life lessen and social circles may shrink, solitude evolves into a cherished companion. It is a time to reconnect with our inner thoughts, explore new intellectual pursuits, or simply savor the quiet beauty of the world around us. Whether it's tending to a garden, reading a book, or engaging in quiet contemplation, solitude becomes a vessel for peace and renewal in our later years. The liberation of solitude. Finding true freedom. One of the greatest gifts that solitude offers is the freedom to be authentic. In a world where external expectations often dominate our lives, solitude allows us to shed the masks we wear for others. When we are alone, we are free to explore our true selves without judgment or pressure. This freedom is especially liberating in the later stages of life, when the need for validation or approval from others often fades. Consider the simple pleasure of sitting alone in a park, watching the sunlight filter through the trees. The soft rustling of leaves in the breeze becomes a soothing melody that calms the mind and soul. In these quiet moments, we are reminded that true peace comes not from external accomplishments, but from a deep connection to our inner selves. There is no rush, no need to perform or fulfill obligations. We can simply exist, and in this existence we find a profound sense of contentment. The freedom of solitude allows us to experience life in its purest form, without the distractions or pressures that often obscure our sense of well-being. As we grow older, this freedom becomes even more significant. The demands of work and raising children diminish, leaving us with more time to explore our personal passions and interests. No longer bound by the expectations of others, we are free to spend our days in the pursuit of what brings us joy and fulfillment. Whether it's painting, writing, gardening, or simply enjoying a quiet walk, solitude allows us to indulge in these personal pleasures without guilt or obligation. This newfound freedom offers a sense of liberation that can be both uplifting and empowering. It is a reminder that, in the end, the only true companion we have in this life is ourselves. As we come to terms with this realization, we gain the confidence to embrace our individuality and celebrate our uniqueness. Solitude, far from being a source of loneliness, becomes a doorway to self-reliance and self-expression. Solitude as a tool for reflection and personal growth. The act of embracing solitude in our later years is not just about escaping the noise of the outside world, but about engaging deeply with our inner world. It is an opportunity for reflection, introspection, and personal growth. In solitude, we can revisit the past with clarity and perspective, examining the choices we've made and the lessons we've learned. We can reflect on our relationships, our successes, and our failures, gaining insight into what truly matters to us. This process of reflection is an essential part of personal growth. As we age, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We begin to appreciate the complexity of our experiences, acknowledging both the joy and the pain that have shaped us. In solitude, we are free to explore these feelings without interruption or external judgment. This inward journey allows us to gain a greater sense of self-awareness and emotional resilience, helping us to navigate the challenges of life with grace and wisdom. Moreover, solitude provides the space to cultivate a deeper sense of purpose. In our youth, we may have been driven by external goals, career success, financial stability, or social status. But as we age, these external markers of success lose their significance. Instead, we are left to confront the deeper questions of existence. What is the meaning of life? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Solitude allows us to grapple with these existential questions and gain clarity on what truly matters to us. As we answer these questions, we begin to shift our focus from the superficial to the profound. We prioritize relationships, meaningful experiences, and personal growth over material success or social status. This shift in perspective can be transformative, allowing us to lead a more fulfilling and purposeful life. The beauty of solitude, embracing the simple joys of life. In our fast-paced modern world, it is easy to overlook the simple pleasures that bring us true joy. We are often so caught up in our commitments and responsibilities that we forget to appreciate the beauty around us. But in solitude, we are reminded of the simple things that make life worth living. The soft warmth of the sun on our skin, the fragrance of flowers in the garden, the sound of birdsong at dawn. These small moments are often overlooked in the rush of daily life. But when we take the time to pause and savor them, we begin to see the world in a new light. Solitude allows us to slow down and truly experience these moments, deepening our appreciation for the beauty and wonder of the world. Whether it's a quiet walk through the woods, a cup of tea enjoyed in silence, or the simple act of watching the clouds drift by, solitude invites us to be fully present in the moment. It encourages us to embrace the here and now, without worrying about the past or the future. In these moments, we find peace, contentment, and joy. Conclusion. Solitude as a gift in the later years. As we age, the gift of solitude becomes increasingly important. It is not a sign of loneliness or isolation, but rather a pathway to self-discovery, personal growth, and inner peace. In solitude, we find the freedom to reconnect with our true selves, reflect on our experiences, and appreciate the simple joys of life. It is a time to shed the social masks we wear, embrace our authenticity, and cultivate a deeper connection with our inner world. Rather than seeing solitude as a burden, we should view it as an opportunity to enrich our lives and enhance our relationships. By embracing solitude, we gain a sense of clarity and purpose that allows us to live more fully and authentically. As we move through the later stages of life, solitude offers a sanctuary where we can recharge, reflect, and celebrate the beauty of existence. Through solitude, we discover the true essence of who we are and the remarkable potential that lies within each of us.